And I better put the comments up. And no, hang on. Yes, we've got the live happening now. So I am so excited to be here with you, Gwenda. Welcome to my beautiful conversation show. The beautiful thing is that we haven't met in person yet, but we have connected via our beautiful World Wide Web that actually connects us all in so many ways. So I am here today to let you know that Gwenda and I have got something exciting actually to share with you. Actually, Gwenda has something exciting that I have become a part of, which is even better. So now our conversations are around what we can do, each and every one of us can do to step into, I always like to talk about to step into your courage so you can manifest what you want in life. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey of what have you done to manifest where you are in life, a little bit of your journey, whatever you want to share, and we will just let this conversation evolve.
Well, isn't that just the most perfect way for a conversation to happen and to really go into the depths, if you like, of where it needs to go? And that's a funny thing to say, isn't it? A conversation needs to go somewhere. But how often do we just have idle gossip? And that's not going anywhere. So when we're talking about a conversation evolving into where it needs to go, it's because it's a higher vibration, it's a different intention, and it comes from a space of the heart that's a very sacred space. And that's why I love what you call this, Kay, illuminating conversations, not to be confused with the Illuminati. So illuminating conversations, absolutely
Sometimes I call
beautiful.
them illuminating and I call them uplifting as well. So they're both illuminating and uplifting. So I get caught up in all.
Fantastic. We do have something special to share. You're right, because it's special because you're involved, and it's special because of the way it all came to be. But we'll get to that. So, to answer your question, how did I come to be into my courage? How did I come to go to the things I've done in my life? It's really, really interesting reflecting on the path of life. And because I find the journey of life really quite fascinating, I have fun looking back at things. And I remember a time that I was hanging my washing out, and from where my clothesline was, I could see across the way to this beautiful place. It looked amazing. And I used to hang my washing out and go, I'd like to work there. I'd never been there. I could only see it from my washing line. And I'd just look at it and think, oh, it looks so nice and it looks so chic over there. I'd like to work there. And then a time came when I was working for UBD. I don't know if you had UBD in Tassie, Kay. It was the roadmaps, so the good old roadmap book that we used to have. I worked for them, and I used to sell advertising down the bottom of the maps, and I went all over WA to do that, which was a lot of fun. And one of the places I went to was the Esplanade Hotel in Albany, and I pulled up to the building, never having been there, and just looked at it and went, oh my. And when I walked inside, it had the big old-fashioned swirling staircase of rosewood, and there was mahogany, and I just stood there and went, oh, I'd love to work here. That was just my first impression. I just loved the place. So time goes by, and I did work at the place that I could see from my clothesline. I did work at the Esplanade Hotel Albany. I was actually the sales and marketing manager for 10 years. And at the other place was actually Joondalup Resort, but that's a little bit different. So I did do that, and that was from a place of a greater knowing beyond me. All I did was say, I would love to work there. And way back when I was a kid, our family was really big. And the conversation that aunties and great aunties and all different family members would say was, what are you going to be when you grow up? I don't know if the kids get asked that anymore, but
They do.
we
Yeah,
did.
they do. What would you like to
Okay.
do when you grow up? I've got no idea.
That's the answer, yeah. Whereas from the age of 8, I would say to any of my family that asked me, I'm going to be a nurse. And so they used to buy me these little nurse outfits, as kids as a present of Christmas or birthday. And I loved it. I have the stethoscope in my ears and a little hat, and even one of them even had a little cloak. And lo and behold, come
Yes.
16, I began my career in nursing, and I had a little cap, and I used to put a stethoscope in, and I wore a cape, and I just loved it. So looking at how did I step into all the things that I've done, it's more, I think, a case of where I was very much in alignment with my heart, because I could feel it. I could feel it in my heart, and I would look at something and go, oh, I'd like to work there. Now I'm going to shift this up a little kink and say I've even met in my lifetime the male species of the human being and gone,
Yes.
ooh, that's nice. I might like to go out with that.
Yes.
And yeah, I would say 99.99% I won. I get to have that. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But I would laugh at the fact that I might meet someone or see them out socially and think, oh, gee, I'd like to get to know him better, or I'd like to date him. And I did. The difference is, I feel from what I see with people now, it's all very want. I want, and I need. That is not coming from a place of your heart. Whereas when I reflect on everything that I've done and achieved, I can sincerely say it has come from my heart. It's not been, I want that or I need that. It's a different feeling. So it's been an awesome journey. And of course, now moving into what you and I are going to be doing next week, which is very exciting.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But I want to just go back to you as a nurse, because you as a nurse, it's not where you are now, but it is part of who you are and part of that journey. So I can't imagine you, from many reasons, putting on that hat and cape and playing that role as a nurse. But I get it, not in your current day at the moment, but I know that I think from you, I could pick up that you've got this desire to be helpful and desire to support others and bring others into the fold. So you're not actually somebody who's out there for yourself. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, Kay. Thank you. No, it's always been for me, even as I was nursing. So I'm laughing at the vision of me with my little cap on. I could still go and get it. I've still got my little fob watch. Love my fob watch with my name and everything else on it. So I can't say where that desire came from, even as a child wanting to be a nurse, and yet intrinsically you know that means you're going to be helping people. And I loved being a nurse. I really, really loved it. And I have so many amazing memories of particular clients or patients, as they were called then, patients, and they still sit in my heart, such special times. And it was actually, I have to take a big breath with this one. It was actually a particular lady that I was laying her out. And I made a promise to her that I would go on a mission to find better ways to help people be well. So that's really how
the transition from nursing into more your spiritual work.
Yeah,
that's
still sits in my heart very especially. And from that, I had a few car accidents, and nursing changed, and different things happened as life does. But the funny thing is that when I went into hospitality and when I went into UBD advertising sales, and I actually became state manager for South Australia, Northern Territory and Western Australia on some really beautiful publications, it was still helping people, because it was helping them in their business. It was helping them. And I would even find myself talking to them about their health and how that would affect their business way back then. And that was before I had my own business. I was working, I was employed by
Yes.
someone else. So yeah, the want to help people is just an innate part of me.
Beautiful. So before we move on to our event, because we want to keep people a little bit, I'd love to know a little bit, when did you transition into your own business, and tell us a little bit more about what you do in your business, because you offer so many things, and I love watching your shows, and I love listening to your wisdom and what you've got to share and say. And I know that a lot of people have great respect for you. There's always that talk behind the scene of, oh, Gwenda this, or I love listening to Gwenda, or people, I love listening to you, and I also listen to Gwenda. So tell us a bit more about what you do. And
Thank you, Kay. How did I transition? I got to, I was 40, and I was extremely fit, extremely fit. I was going to go into a fitness competition. I'd been training, fitness training for some time, and I just loved the feeling. I loved to find what you can do with the body is incredible. I mean, you've only got to look at gymnasts and some yoga people and things, you really can become a pretzel. So I found the body amazing. And this transition of my own body, I was just loving it. Even more so that a colleague turned up to pick me up, turned up to my doorstep on Saturday, and she'd come to ask me to go somewhere with her. And when I opened the door, I'd only just come in from being at the gym. And when I opened the door to her, she thought I was my daughter. She goes, Chantal, is your mum home? And I went, Lindsay, it's
yes.
me. She's like, oh my God, because normally she would see me in the corporate outfit and I was in my gym gear, and it was so funny. And I'm like, whoa, take that.
Nice.
When I was 40 and wanting to do this fitness figure, I collapsed and I ended up in emergency in one of the Perth hospitals, and I nearly died. And on the table, I did have a death experience. And it turned out that I was pregnant, and yet I'd been sterilised since I was 23. I didn't have any tubes, fallopian tubes. I was pregnant, and it was
wow. You did a Jesus Christ. No? Oh,
yeah, I reckon I hung out with him for a while because they couldn't wake me up, and my mum actually saw me with my dad, who's in spirit, and she thought that he'd come to get me, and she said I was standing with him looking amazing, and and they couldn't wake me out of the anesthetic. So that was a real pivotal point for me in my life. And then to rebuild myself, remembering how fit I was, and my doctor actually told me it was my level of fitness that saved me. Well,
yes,
knowing what I know now, I can add to that.
Yes, yes.
It wasn't my time, but that experience was definitely to assist me in what I have now done for a long time. So then at the age of, it took me 4 years to fully recover from that. I had no blood and I refused to take a blood transfusion. Being a nurse, I knew what the complications could be. And also soul level knew energetically what the complications are from that. And I didn't want any of it. So the surgeon told me that I was a stubborn little biatch,
Yes.
and she was really cranky with me and told me that I would sink into deep depression because I was so very fit and used to being able to be fit. And she was wrong. Other people might have, she was wrong, but it took a long time for me to rebuild my whole blood supply. So through that, I had to learn a lot about the food, the way food impacts you. And I just love it. As I said, I love the human being. We're an amazing creation and what you can do. So then I decided, well, I'm going to go and become a master personal trainer and help people through fitness. So I began my path there, and that began my own business. And the business was called Shape Changer,
Oh, I
because
like
I
that.
shape and change people's lives, not just their body. And I would use my ability to see more than the person sitting in front of me. Used to freak some of the clients out. And the male clients would often say, you know, I swear she can see straight through you. I swear she can look into you. And I'd just smile and go, it's a nursing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Use my ability of sight to really look in and see what was going on in their body and check on their heart and their physical heart. And it was awesome. And I soon became known as the freak trainer. So, you know, people are so generous with name calling. So I was the weird trainer and the freak trainer at the gym I was working at. But I loved it, and I loved the transformation that I was bringing to clients. But I ended up having all the injured and what the staff called the broken clients of the gym, because no one else had my nursing background or, you know, all of that behind them. Whereas if someone was going for a hip replacement, or they just had one, or they were pregnant, or they just had a baby, or a cesarean, or whatever, heart surgery, because I'd been a theatre scrub nurse and done those surgeries, I knew what had gone on in the body. So it gave me a whole different level of awareness.
Inside.
And then I wanted to know more about holistic. How could I be a holistic educator? Because being a personal trainer just didn't cut it. It wasn't enough. It's not enough if you're really going to address people's transformation. And because the physical body is a vehicle for so much more of us.
Yes.
So I sent out and said, I want to find someone that I can learn with who understands the whole picture. And ta-da! As always, we know we're answered. This wonderful man, Mr. Paul Check, he was at a huge fitness conference in Sydney that I attended for 4 days, and I went to every one of his lectures, and I signed up and became one of his students. And he uses the word coach, which I don't like. So I got certifications under him and through his teachings, and I was just in heaven. It's just awesome. So then that grew my business, and it grew me. And then life changes, you know. So the business, as probably all businesses ought to do, is evolve. So the business evolved, and also the call that I received was for me to become more of a speaker to numbers, speaker to the masses, and help people understand the light within and the power of the healing that the light within holds for them. So that evolved the business to where it is now. So it's been quite a journey.
Well, there's so many things I've learned about your journey. That's so amazing. And my hat off to you, because you follow your divine guidance. And I think that is the key, isn't it? That when we know to follow, I call them divine nudges. And when we know to follow those messages that drop in, if they feel right, don't just think you've got a message and you've got to know that it's aligned with your heart and your head and all those things. So I think it's fantastic to hear your story. And now you're sort of, to me, you're stepping into a new, well, another plateau, or taking your own journey with your business, and with also your nudges about reaching other people in a different way. So let's talk about this beautiful symposium that you have designed and created, and so everyone can hear.
Thank you, Kay. I can't take credit for this. This was shown to me, and it was what's called automatic writing in 2018, and it actually had a different name. It was called the Conscious Conversation Conference.
Oh,
each time around that.
yes.
And when I did all the writing and had a look at it for it, it just melted my heart. And it was all about helping people understand the incredible power we hold through conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And in that comes listening and hearing. And I know, I hope she's not watching, but I used to say to my mum, "You're not listening to me." And I'll say it to my kids, "You're not listening." And of course, Mum would say, "I am so too." And I'd say, "No, you're not." And she'd say, "I heard you." Go, "Well, I don't think you heard me either." And there is quite a difference between listening and hearing. And this is where I believe we're able to really grasp the whispers of the soul, the call of the soul, when we actually understand listening and hearing. So the beauty of the Conscious Conversation Conference came to life.
Mm-hmm.
All of it was planned, and the launch date, it was all done through 2019, and it was launching at the Pan Pacific Hotel in Perth, then to go across to Melbourne, exactly the same as now,
Yes.
and up the East Coast on the 20th of March 2020.
Oh, well, ding, ding, ding. We know some things changed our whole global world
Yep,
on that
yep.
date. So,
So, it all just sat there and it didn't happen, obviously.
mm,
And then a matter of months ago, I was going through some of my planning books and things, and looking for new stuff. Well, not new stuff, but things I've written for my next book. And I came to the book that had all of that about the conscious conversation. So I went, "Okay, what do you want done with this now then?"
mm,
And it was immediate. It came through, and it's changed its name across to the Conscious Soul Evolution. And the word conference now is not aligned to the level
yes.
of consciousness. It's not aligned to those who really want to understand what it is to be aligned to their true self, which is your soul. It's not
Mm-hmm.
aligned to the call of the heart. So I asked what it would be, and it was like listening to a choir of angels sing, and the word symposium came through, and I went, "Oh, I just loved
That's it.
it."
Nice. Oh, I love
So,
that. And I love your ability to have faith in. I mean, you could be sitting here saying, what I had organized didn't go, but I didn't even hear, like your first one, I didn't hear a murmur of complaint there. It was total acceptance that this is what's happened, and just being in that, that energy of, well, what I had planned isn't going to happen. And I haven't heard any, verbal complaints from you. You've there's been an acceptance and a trust in the process, and a trust in the flow of life. So I think that's amazing. And I'm so excited that you've taken up the message and you're coming to Melbourne. So let's talk about the dates that you are coming in, and let's talk about how people, if they would like to get involved in this, your website's there. I'm just going to let you do your, sharing of whatever you want about these beautiful events that are coming
thank you,
soon.
Kay. It is it is a case of trust, because, as I say to people, nothing will ever shift my unwavering faith. My unwavering faith is not compromisable. It just is. So when I was shown all that in 2018 and did all the work for it in 2019, I'm pretty sure they knew what was coming.
Yes.
And then it just went, and yeah, you just had to go, well, that's what it is. But then having it brought to life when I asked, well, what do you want with this now? Because it's all sitting there. There's been changes that have had to be made to all of the foundation that was created for it. But the energy, when you sit in that space, the energy is indescribable. It's just, no, it's just beautiful. So, recharging it and creating it to fit what they're asking for now was really a lot of fun to do. So yes, next Thursday, which is the 13th, I will fly across to Victoria, and then I'll trundle out to an area called Berwick. It's not Berwick, people. It is spelt with the W for all the West Australians, but it's pronounced Berwick.
I'm an ex-Melburnian, so I know it's Berwick. I knew that.
And even finding the venues, Kay, I knew from the visions that I'd seen what was needed, and it definitely wasn't a typical conference room, because it's not a conference in a big building of grey and bricks and stuff. And also because of a certain part of the symposium that I'll come to, we needed to have a space that is very natural. So I'd been searching online venues in Melbourne, venues this distance outside of Melbourne City with natural surrounds. By the third day, I went to bed, and as I do my close of day and give thanks. And I said, I have a request. Please show me the venue for the Victoria event, the Conscious Soul Evolution Symposium. In the morning, I came out, turned on the screen, typed in, as I had each day, venues, and the first one on the screen was the old cheese factory, Berwick. And I just went, oh! As soon as I saw the picture, and I just knew there's that sense of knowing again. There's that energy that comes, and I just knew. So I rang them straight away, and they said, well, I can't believe it. We actually have that part of our venue available that day. And the girl was really funny. She said, I need to check that, because when we're fully booked, especially in a short time frame. Yeah, she came back and said, it's yours.
No,
I knew that.
I knew that. You could have said, look, I could have saved you the trouble, just book me in now. But I love that. Often I do, if I get to that stage where something, I had a very pivotal moment years ago where I needed to take my children and leave my home, and I needed somewhere to go. And I knew that I had friends in Perth. Wish I'd known you then. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I had friends in Perth, and I said, dear God, I want to get to Perth. I don't know how I'm going to get there. You organise it. Well, the next day, or 2 or 3 days late, actually it was probably 3 days later, I'd hopped on a boat to Melbourne, and I went to visit a friend, and I told him what had been going on, because there's a whole back end of that story, and he said, well, we're going to Perth on Friday. Why don't you come with us? And I went, serious? And I had 4 kids, a dog, and I had my own car, and they were going over to a permaculture conference, and they had places all along the way where they were staying in exchange for just friendship and chattering. So me being with the mum with the 4 kids, if we, they used to give me priority place of where I could sleep, and sometimes they took the kids in their car and my car. I was just absolutely amazing. I think there was 13 of us all together that went to Perth, and
Wow.
it was just the most incredible thing. But it was at a pivotal point in my life where I needed a break, and it was just this, dear God, I want to go to Perth, you sort it. Well, I tell you what, it's definitely sorted. So
and people say that your prayers aren't answered. He's not listening. There's that word. He's not listening. Yes. It's just that you get in the way. Kay said, I need to do this, God, you sort it. And he did, bam. And she didn't say, oh, no, I didn't want to go this Friday. Oh, no, I didn't want to have to stop here. Oh, no, I didn't want that. No, Kay said, thank you, and went ahead with it. And that's the difference.
That's the
when
key,
you want to
isn't
get
it?
in the way, because all prayers are answered, all calls for help are answered. It's only because we get in the way, and I think that it's beautifully depicted in a movie called Bruce Almighty with that crazy lunatic. Can't think of his name now. It's got Morgan Freeman in it, and he plays the part of God, which is awesome, having a black man as God. It's brilliant.
Yes.
Kerry Jim Carrey is the other lead actor. I think it's called God Almighty, something like that. And it's a perfect example of what happens when people ask for help, and then the help comes, and then they get in the way or they refuse it.
Yes.
Like, no, that doesn't suit me. That's
Yeah.
not what I had in mind.
And it's trusting that, you know, sometimes I talk to people and you kind of try and open the door or something and give them an insight, or I actually like to, you know, the field of infinite possibility or potential is actually there for us to take. But, you know, sometimes people, they'll say, oh, if I do this, and this will happen. Well, you've already got yourself, you've cut yourself off at the base if you've already decided, if I do this, and this will happen, because you just never know what's going to happen. And you've really got to be open to receive and call in your protection and have faith and trust in the process, really. And that's something I think we learn more and more over time.
Yeah.
That ability
just let
to
it be. Once you've asked, let it be, so it can come into fruition and be there for you. And even when it comes, I laugh at people, even when it comes to fruition, they still want to bend it, shape it, change it. It's like, no, just let it be. So with the symposium and having the old cheese factory, which just looks amazing, the reason that we needed a space that has got the beautiful outside surrounds of naturalness is because part of the symposium includes the opportunity to evolve with your soul and have the most amazing experiential experience in the evolution circle, which is 90 minutes of a whole different awareness and alignment with your truth, with your heart. And that can actually be quite an emotional thing for some people, but you know, the day is of inspiration, harmony, kindness, compassion, and it is very much healing hearts and opening minds. And a lot of people say, well, I've got a pretty open mind, but gee, I wish this didn't happen, or this blah blah blah. And I think, well, no, whoops, you kind of missed your open mind there. And yes, we all fall prey to that at some point in our life. There's some time where we go, we want to control everything and we want to be able to make it be the way that we want it. And that just doesn't work, as we find the hard way. And then there is another step. So there will be the evolution circle. And then there is the ascension circle, and the ascension circle is a whole different level. So the ascension circle, again, 90 minutes, they run simultaneously. So you go to one or the other. And the ascension circle really is for those who have done a lot of inner work, inner awareness, are actually on their path of living what I call a soul-led life. They listen to their heart, but maybe they've got to like a 7 out of 10 and just feel like, oh, I just can't get that. I know there's something more, I just can't seem to get there. Or there's some kind of block in the reality of the third dimension that's just holding them in that spot of 7 out of 10. So the Ascension Circle has a sacred tea ceremony. Then we go into a journey. And it is one of my favourite things to do, is to journey between the realms or go out to different realms. And particularly, I'm going to call it the healing realm, because there is an opportunity to go to a different place of your future self where you can bring back the wisdom of healing. So if you feel like you're stuck, then you can go there and bring in, so you can also see that there is a future for you. There is somewhere else. So the Ascension Circle is really cool, as is the Evolution Circle, but they are different, and there'll be a different calling for what it is that people are looking for. And as someone said, so they're like being in the VVIP area and the VIP area. And I went, oh, well, if you want to call it that, yes. So people have the opportunity of coming along to listen to yourself and the other beautiful evolutionists because that's what you are, evolutionists. And taking people to a new awareness so they can come along to that section of the day, which begins in the morning, and in Melbourne or Berwick, it finishes at 1. And then those who wish to continue on will have a ticket that is called an evolution ticket or an ascension ticket, which means that they've selected to come the whole day going into the evolution circle or going into the ascension. And those who are not ready to take those steps but would like to understand a greater awareness of themselves and experience the power of becoming your own warrior and experience the wisdom of yourself, of Leah, of Luann, of Mel, myself, then it's going to be a tremendous morning into the afternoon for them. And that's the general admission ticket. And I'm sorry, everyone, but the early bird is finished. It's been out for like 6 weeks, so it's finished.
Yes,
And
yes.
really, the general admission ticket for everything you're going to get, and funnily enough, it's 111.
Oh,
And I
love
tell you, I did not choose the prices. They were shown, which I thought was pretty cool.
I might have to bring my 111 chime.
Yeah,
I think it's in the suitcase, but we'll have a look at that. So we're going to have an opportunity to hear from different speakers, and I think it's not just speaking. It's more. It is more work. Would you call them workshops? What would you call them? Or sessions?
Sessions, I think, because again, the words, a lot of conditioning and a lot of our mental trappings is because of the words that we've become used to and have been deliberately orchestrated with us. And those words create a lot of restriction with the soul. So flow, sessions, evolving. That's
Yes.
why, I'm not using the term speakers, but presenters, that they're the evolutionists are going to present. So these all have a different vibration, a little like the chime you were talking about. You have a 111 chime because of the hertz that it plays. Words do the same thing. So words have a vibrational reach into the cells of the body, and they trigger. They either trigger, they either heal, they evolve, they block. So, yeah, amazing, isn't it?
We're all about unfolding into our full potential, really, isn't it? So unfolding, evolving, ascending, and really raising our vibrations so that we can cope in our everyday life is really what it comes down to in its raw form. And also, so those who want to cope and those who want to evolve beyond the coping and into maybe playing a role even with other people. Like, I'm pretty excited because it's giving me an opportunity to get out and do my work and to share what I have to offer with people as well.
Which is it. Why you were chosen, yes.
So that's wonderful. Now you've got the Melbourne event on the 15th of October. Can you give us other dates, because we might have people from other states that would like to know what the other dates are?
So the 15th of October is sneaking up on us rather quickly.
Yes.
It's only next Saturday. And then I'll return home, and then I'll go back to northern part of New South Wales in the Byron Bay area, and be around Byron Bay for the 29th of October.
Okay.
And then the 5th of November, we are at Cedar Creek Lodges. Oh my goodness me, in Mount Tamborine in Queensland. I don't think I want to come home from there, actually. Beautiful. So we're there for the symposium on the 5th of November, and then the Perth Symposium is on the 19th of November. Absolutely awesome.
Absolutely.
And who knows,
awesome.
Kay, we just might. A few people have asked, and I'm like, I don't know, I'll ask for the guidance on that. A few people have asked, will this be a regular tour, a regular event? So, it's been put out there, and I'd like to see it expand into the likes of Tasmania, South Australia, even up to the Northern Territory, and even into different parts of our states, because WA is such a huge state that we've got a lot of people in our far northwest.
Yes, yep, absolutely. So anyone who's interested can go to Gwenda's website, healwithgwenda.com, and or if you'd like to have a conversation with me, email me or send us if you're friends with us on Facebook, you can send us a message if anyone would like to know more information. Is there anything else you would like to share before we come to a conclusion on this conversation?
Thank you, Kay. The website has got dedicated pages and where to book your tickets. So if you wanted to just have a feel and really sit and absorb into the energy of what the symposium's about, even reading it will bring you a different sense of self. It'll bring you a different vibration, as it is called, because we are a vibratory being. So it will give you a different energy. So even just sitting to read it, and then we would love to have you join us. I'm beyond excited with the beautiful evolutionists like Kay has got so much wisdom to share with you. Her ability to bring you to understand how to use your senses, sense of smell, sense of hearing, to lift you to a whole different awareness is healing in itself. And I'm really looking forward to Kay's presentation at the symposium. I was going to pick her up in my suitcase and take her from each place,
Oh, I know. I'm sitting here kind of going, how can I navigate my way around all these dates? Because I'm in Queensland and we're just going to be a little bit off target there. So anyway, let's see. Or if not, it'll be next year. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. If not, we will see where this will lead us. So thank you, Gwenda. It's so exciting to have this conversation, and I'm so looking forward. We're on the countdown almost next week, and I will be seeing you in the flesh in Melbourne. We keep telling each other we'll give ourselves a big hug when we see each other. So it's going to be fantastic. And we're looking forward to anybody who wants to come along. Please share this event. If you're watching this, or if you know someone who would benefit or who might be interested, please let us know, because there are still some seats available, and those first in, best dressed, as that's really probably the case.
Yeah, it's limited. The circles are limited in numbers. They must be. It's not something that is, for the hundreds, dozens, whatever. So yes, if you're thinking about it, I wouldn't think too long. I'd be following my heart. But Kay, thank you. I love your illuminating conversations and just your beautiful energy. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming along. And to all those out there, I'll just leave you with, no action brings no results. Taking actions and saying yes to yourself is one of the most important things that we all need to learn and apply in our life. So from my heart to your heart, and I'll let you say your goodbyes.
Yeah, mine too. From my heart to yours, and mine to yours, Kay, and I can't wait to hug you.
Yes. All right. So thank you. Bye.